Hi folks, Travis Fox here with FoxOptic.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to perform a one-shot zero in the new Pulsar Thermion rifle scope. I'm going to walk you through that process pretty quick here. I've got some targets set up down there, cameras on that, so hopefully you'll be able to see exactly how this works. I'll be recording inside the scope as well. So let's get started. The first thing on the Thermion you're going to notice that's different is this little encoder wheel. Pretty self-explanatory. Going to roll the thing to go up or down, left, right, just be running your windage and elevation adjustments, inside of some menu options. Center button press, this is a push button. It's got both short and long presses, so like typically short presses are going to be to select or go into menu items. Long presses typically going to save or back out of things. So let's get started here. We're going to go ahead and hit record inside the device so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do a long press to get us opened up, and we're going to be basically paying attention. You can see this is the full menu, but we're going to basically be working in the zeroing profile. You can see here where you can change those. Again, I'm using the encoder to scroll up, down, single tap to select those. So like there, I've selected the A profile. If I come down here into zeroing, you can see where I've got some aiming points set up underneath there. What's cool about this is, so like up here in the profiling, you'll see that you can set 5 profiles, A, B, C, D, or E. What that's going to allow you to do is, like in the case of this, let's say for example under my A profile I'm using a 100 grain bullet. Let's say I'm shooting at subsonic, and then under the B profile I'm shooting a 117 sonic or something to that extent, or I could be running a really good return to zero QD mount, have my A profile for a 223 that I sometimes shoot on, B profile for this 25-06, C profile for a crossbow, and I could be moving between Picatinny rails on those with the return to zero QD. I can have 10 aiming points underneath of each profile. Again, 5 profiles, so that's 50 potential XY coordinate shifts that I can set up. What's really cool, as you're in under the profiles, like we stayed in under that A profile, you'll see here, if I come in and do a short press and put this thing on the quick menu function where it allows me to change those points, you can see, oops, I needed to do another long press after that. You can see where I can change those very rapidly. A long press will take it down where I left it. So when I bring it back up, it'll come up in the same point. So there I switched to 400 yards. If I wanted to switch to 50, it's as simple as a short press, roll it down to 50. Long press, I don't have to do the long press to change the reticle. It's going to change on its own even if I screw up. But the point of doing the long press to get that collapse or just let it collapse on its own is when I do the next press, it's going to come up under that aiming point change. So like there, again, if I wanted to change it, can do it very rapidly. The cool thing about that is it's over there on that sidebar. It's not intrusive. You can keep your eye on the target. You get, say, a coyote coming out there, he holds up, and you want to shift from where you initially thought you were going to be taking shots, you can do it, never take your eye off the target. So it's very cool, quick, and intuitive. And again, so like in order to switch and do that under a different profile, I'd have to go into the menu and change it. But as long as I have that profile selected for what I'm doing, so like say if I was shooting this gun and had it set up for the A profile, just select that and those aiming points are going to be in that quick menu. If I wanted to switch to a different gun, B profile, as long as I switch that B profile, then the quick menu is going to come up with B as that subset. So quick and intuitive. But let's focus back onto the how to perform the zero itself. I just want to make sure you kind of know why you would want to set these different aiming points. So a long press is going to bring us back into that main menu. Well, let's do a new one here. We're going to call it D. I might have some other ones set up in here, so I just want to make sure I'm using a clean one. We're going to come down here to the zeroing. Again, a short press. We're going to call this a new distance of 50 yards. So as you can see, the encoder is going to roll up, down the numbers. Short presses are going to move my position. So there's where I want to be. I'm going to do a long press to save that. Now if you look in that top right, you can see where I've got I'm in D profile with a 50-yard setting, or 50-yard naming. At this point, nothing's set. It's X, Y, or 0. So you can see that in the top right. And then over here on the left, you'll see my sub-menu, which is windage and elevation is the first one. That's where I'm going to make the reticle moves. You'll see that here in just a second. The next one below that is magnification change, so I can zoom in, zoom out, which coincidentally, if I zoom in, as I'm doing the zeroing, it's also going to shift into micro adjust mode under each one of those. So like at 5.5 in the case of this XM, it's going to move in units of full units of 1. If I go to 11x, it's going to move in units of 0.5, and if I go to 22, 0.25. So in the case of this one, a 1/4 inch at 100 yards at 5, at the full unit move. So when I'm at 5.5 unit moving in full units, they'd be 1/4 inch at 100 yards. When I go to that 11x, they'd be 1/8 inch, and when I go, or the 0.5 would equate to 1/8 inch. And then 22x, the 0.25 would equate to 1/16 inch. So that's pretty simple to understand. I'm going to start at the base magnification is always a good idea until you get close, and then typically going to zoom up to very, to go to those very precise moves. So again, long press, or press to take me out of that. Long press to take me out of it. I'm going to come down here to the freeze frame. Freeze frame is next. As you can see, when I'm moving around, target is moving around the background image. If I freeze this, you can see where it locks the target relationship to the reticle and the X placement. That's going to be really handy in some situations where you're getting bullet heat dissipation, or you're just a little jittery and want to lock that corresponding relationship. You do not have to perform that. You have, as long as you hold that stationary reticle at where you aimed and move the X up to where your bullet impact points are, do the saves, get that relationship. Even if you're moving a little bit, once you know you've got that relationship, you're going to get the same results. It's just the freeze frame is nice because you can lock that in the background. Again, where that's really handy for me is if I'm shooting into, say, plywood, and I can see the bullet trail going through there because it heats that substrate up as it goes through, but the heat's going out of it pretty quick as it wicks away. You'll lose, if it takes you a little bit to make your adjustments, you can lose sight of those bullets. So by performing that ghosting or freeze frame in the background like that, makes it easy to hold that relationship. So again, short press will take it off. Now I'm back to live. This last one down here, name distance, just allows you, in case you screw up on your distance naming, to go in and make a change on that. Exactly the same procedure as before. Short presses move you through, the encoder up down is going to move through your numbers. When you got it where you want it, long press to save. So we're pretty much ready to go. So we're going to start again in that top right hand target. We're going to go ahead and we're all set up. We're going to take a shot and see what we got going on here. Okay, so I went ahead and shot, and you can see we aimed right there, and our bullet impact was up here. So pretty simple to understand. I'm going to come up here to make things a little simpler. I'm going to go ahead and do the freeze frame on it. So you can see now I've froze that relationship. I might be a little low, but it won't hurt us. So we're going to go ahead and jump up here to windage and elevation. I'm opening that up, and as you can see, we're going to start off, it's in the X axis to start with, which is going to move us for our windage. So I'm going to scroll over till I get approximately lined up to that bullet impact. Then when I want to switch to go vertical, short press, it moved me into the Y. Again, you can see that in the top right. So right now I'm at X25, and Y is highlighted, so I'm going to move vertically up until I get right over that impact point, which is about right there. And as you can see now, I'm at X25, Y21. So all I've got to do at this point is center a long center button press. It's going to move my reticle up into that new position. Should be good there. Now I'm going to come back down here and unfreeze on the target, and we're going to be ready. So we're going to go ahead and chuck another one in it and take another shot. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that or not, but we're hitting pretty much dead center there. That's how it's supposed to work. If we would have some issue there or we needed to make another change, obviously, you know, we could have came back up here into the magnification. You know, we can zoom in, we could very precisely change that. You know, if we came in here, zoomed up, went back and did the freeze frame, go through the readjust again, we could go through the process again, but I will be honest with you, that's probably going to be pretty good. So what I would probably do at this point is maybe go ahead and go up one bump at the 11X, and probably just to verify that I don't want to make another change, I would go ahead and take another shot. We'll kind of confirm that we're in that point. Okay, there I'm a little low right, but I think I pulled that one, so we're going to go ahead and take one more. Now that one I felt pretty comfortable on, so see, at that point I might go ahead and make another small adjust there. And how I would do that, I would come up to this windage and elevation, open that back up, and again, I'm just going to show you without doing the freeze frame this time. I could scroll that down. That's about the height I'm at. I could toggle in here. I wasn't very far off. I think I was about right there. So I could hold right there, and I think that would get me I'd be pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead again. I'm going to do a long press on that to lock that coordinate. And I would probably go ahead and do another long press here just to save, to make sure, because I think I'm going to be pretty happy. Then I can come back in and verify that. So I think I've got one more bullet in here. Let's go ahead and we'll send that one down there and make sure. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, so I'd be pretty happy with that. Again, the process is that simple. You know, just be sure that when you're done doing your unit moves, that you're doing long presses to lock your coordinates, long presses to save. You know, if you get confused on what you're doing, it's always a good deal. Go ahead and do a save. You can come back into it. It's not going to hurt anything. You're better off to do a save than not to do a save. It's about impossible to get out of the menu without doing a save, so just kind of know that. So, you know, very intuitive, pretty slick setup. If you wanted to set another one thing I will mention to you is you want to keep track of those coordinates. So like there, I'm at X27.5, Y18. Where that's going to be pretty useful is if you know those, I would recommend writing them down. If you have some kind of issue, it'll give you a good place to possibly start. Although the thing is pretty simple, you can start again on your own. But the where it really is beneficial is if you come out here and let's say you wanted to do a new 100-yard one, you could go ahead and name this 100 yards. Come directly in there, put that 27.5. Oops. And your 18, I'll come back and fix that here in a minute. So we're going to go up to 18. So I could go ahead and lock those into this one. What that's going to do is it's going to start me in the same position on my 100s. And that's going to get you on target, make things a little quicker. Once you understand the concept of that, you could actually kind of set these up using a ballistic calculator and do it very quick and intuitively, and then just go back and check them. So I hope that clarifies things for you. I'm sure you may have some questions. If you do, give me a call toll free, 877-806-2977. You'll get me or my wife on the phone. I try to make myself pretty available from about 7 a.m. Central Time to 11 p.m. Central Time. So, you know, feel free to give me a call if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Otherwise, check out these products on our website, www.foxoptic.com. We've got a lot of different videos on there, some review and tutorials, you know. But again, any questions at all, give me a holler. Thanks a lot, and you guys have a great day.